Julia, what is token theory?
Token theory is the idea that if someone is in a minority group, that being in a minority is going to draw heightened attention and scrutiny of them.
Okay.
So, for instance, if there are not very many female CEOs, those rare female CEOs are going to draw heightened attention and scrutiny. There are even fewer Black female CEOs. They are going to draw even greater attention and scrutiny. And this plays into intersectionality and how all of these different identities layer upon each other and draw this higher attention and scrutiny. And there's been a lot of talk about how there have been a lot of takedowns of female founders, of startups. And some of that must play into this idea that because they are so rare, they're drawing that extra attention. And one other piece of this sort of impact of rarity is there was a fascinating study that I write about that I really love. Do you remember the one about the jockeys? And it was this study.
There's so many, sorry.
Yeah, there's so many studies, but there's this great study that shows that the more rare someone is in a role, the more you assume that they're not going to be good at that thing. And it's a study that started off with looking at jockeys, because horse racing is a very rare sport where men and women actually compete directly against each other. And what these academics found, and they repeated the study in various ways, is that the horse races, the types of races in which women had the least representation, were the ones where the betting public assumed that women would be the worst. Women were assumed to have the least capability in the areas where they were least well represented. And this was a study that was initially done about jockeys, but the findings hold true in any situation. If you don't see someone doing something, you assume they're not going to be good at it.
Right.
So if you see one woman out of 100 doing something, you're like, well, women must not be good at this thing. Otherwise, we'd see more of them. So it becomes a self-perpetuating thing. And that's why it's so important to be aware of these unconscious biases, pattern matching, and the impact it can have on so many different things.